robbing people.
Are they robbing people? Do you know?
Some would say they are.
How are they robbing people, though?
Well, taxation is theft.
Oh. Taxation's not theft.
We're just curious today of if anybody has heard of this group called the Bilderberg group. Have you ever heard of Bilderberg?
Oh, yeah.
You have? All right. Well, what have you heard? First of all, I got to say, you're the first one we've come across today, so that's good. Thank you for being informed. What have you heard?
Oh, it's a conspiracy theory.
How so?
Well, it's a conspiracy theory that all the company heads and politicians, they all control everything, right?
Yeah. Well, essentially, it does amount to about 120 people who meet every year, and there are military men and banking heads of finance and media moguls and presidents and prime ministers. Wouldn't you say those are pretty influential people who hold a bit of power?
Yeah.
Do you think they ought to be meeting and discussing things in secret?
I don't know if it's a secret if you've heard about it.
Well, although we don't know what they're discussing, do you think the agendas should be public?
No, not really.
Why not?
I mean, the public doesn't. I mean, I don't think that the public should know absolutely everything that goes on in the world.
But when they're discussing things that are going to affect your life, potentially, and foreign policy, when you got guys like the head of IMF in there and the head of Goldman Sachs and heads of PayPal and Google and Facebook, and these are very influential people, do you see no problem with them meeting and discussing things behind closed doors in secret?
Not really. I mean, that's life, man.
Yeah, sure enough. What about this whole concept in general of the secret government and this concept of government operating outside of what we are told about?
I mean, if you assume that it's real, right, which I don't know if it is, it's no different than the FBI, or CIA, NSA, whatever, doing their shit in secret. Mm-hmm. You know, government does things in secret that you don't know about.
Right.
But, I mean, you've elected them, right? So
when they're doing things shady, do you think they should be held accountable?
I mean, it depends. But it depends on how you define shady.
Okay. Well, robbing people.
Are they robbing people? Do you know?
Some would say they are.
How are they robbing people, though?
Well, taxation is theft.
Oh. Taxation's not theft.
Well, it's not exactly voluntary, is it?
Taxes?
Yeah.
I think taxes are pretty voluntary. I mean,
well, if you don't pay them, men with guns show up and they come to your door and they put you behind a cage. How's that voluntary?
it's your elected government. If you don't want to pay tax,
I didn't vote. I've never voted.
why didn't you vote then?
I've never voted before.
Why not?
Because I don't support the I don't want to prop up the system. You know, yeah, I don't like that argument that if people say if you've never voted you can't complain. I disagree. If you voted, then you can't complain because you get what you voted for.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm not complaining.
Right.
I don't know. I think my life's pretty good, man.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So no concern with any kind of people trying to direct your life in some other kind of direction.
I mean, they can try, but I mean, it's the same thing with just marketing in general. Like, everyone's trying to direct your life. You're deciding how you're directed.
Right.
It's your own willpower.
All right. Any final thoughts on what would you have to say to the people who are looking at this? And I mean, you allude to it to being conspiracy theory, and perhaps that's only because people are left to speculate because we don't know what they're talking about, right? What would you have to say to the so-called conspiracy theorists who are investigating this stuff?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. If you find something, let me know.
Okay, sweet. All right, thanks.
All right, have a good one. Well, it's a conspiracy theory that all the company heads and politicians, they all control everything, right? Yeah.
Well, I think it speaks to the fact that the wealthy run the world, and all kinds of decisions are made behind closed doors that we're not a part of. There's all kinds of factors